13 years ago, I watched the first Iron Man movie. Funny enough, it's what got me into engineering. Although I would love to work on the Iron Man suit, current technology is a little behind. But Tony did have other inventions.
Operated by our allies and local intelligence.
3 years ago, I made a similar device, and even made a video on it. The old design was 3D printed and was internally held by tape, and it was kind of big. You can see here that there's electrical tape. Back when I made the first version, I wanted a small, compact device to control my electronics with. I wanted it to be compact, powerful, and usable. I think like the Flipper Zero, and I accomplished none of that. So for this project, I'm going to do just that. So here's the plan. I want my device to be small enough to fit in my pocket, made of metal, and decently powerful. With the main point being that it has capabilities my phone doesn't have. Because otherwise, what's the point? The first step is going to be to figure out what parts I'm going to need. Looking at the old design, I had a screen, I had a battery, I had the Raspberry Pi, and then I had a keyboard, I had a second battery, and the bad USB and the Google Coral. I had a lot of functionality packed in, but everything was kind of half-baked. So, time to do some research. Alright, so let's re-examine what I have. The screen from Hyperpixel. Along with that, I will be upgrading the processing power from the old Raspberry Pi Zero to the new 2nd gen one. I originally wanted to include a Google Coral USB, but I couldn't figure out how to fit this in a compact way. You see here, everything here is as closely built in as possible. With the Raspberry Pi Zero being connected directly to the screen and the camera being squished right underneath. There is quite a mess there with the ribbon cable. Hopefully that does not break. So now for the case. The case was prototyped in plastic, more specifically 3D printed, in order to make sure everything lines up. Here it is. As you can see, the design is very similar. We had a little border, but if you look around, there's a hole. And there's currently no battery and no charging. So what is this hole for? Well, it is for this modular module. Since everything communicates through this micro USB ports, I thought that it would be pretty simple to just change it out. So in this case, it has a small 500 milliamp battery in it with a USB board connected to a power management board. And when I slot it in a brief second, you'll see, oh, it's dead. Oh! This project has been filled with a lot of mistakes. First big issue is the actual machining. It had been a while since I've machined anything, so the finish wasn't perfect. The second big mistake was the hardware. I'm not sure if something broke, but things are kind of slow. They're kind of laggy, don't fully work. The third mistake was the actual coding part. I realized too late that Raspberry Pi has too many limitations when it comes to making a GUI. Take Hinter is really simple. So although the applications were usable, they didn't look cool. I originally planned to use Unity to design a GUI similar to that in Iron Man, but that proved to be not possible. Basically, Unity does not have any way to export apps to Raspberry Pi. I had 4 main features planned to be shown in this video. The 2 features I wanted first came from this, the Ponogachi. This device would first kick off anyone on the Wi-Fi, and then when they are trying to reconnect, it would intercept and collect packets. These packets held the Wi-Fi password, but once you have this encrypted file, you can then later on take it to another application, which in theory could crack it, and now you have the person's Wi-Fi password. The other feature I had planned was just a basic message spammer. I had one a few years ago too. It's fun to mess around with people. The final feature I had planned was just a way to control my robots. I wanted this to be a controller, but of course I can't really fully test that until I've built the actual robot. These are the changes I'm aiming for by next video. 1, I'm swapping out the Pi 0 for a Pi 3B. Reason being that it doesn't overheat. This is the board. I've already removed the USB ports, which was kind of violent, and hopefully this board still works. 2, I am going to remachine the case. The case I made was a little too small. 3, I will have coded everything so that it actually, hacks things. 4, I will make more modules. So yeah, I thought this project would be quick and in a week, but like all my projects, they've been prolonged. I need to take a break.